to the PlanetRoq Podcast, the hottest show in the cosmos. Get ready for insight and inspiration right here on PlanetRoq with your special guest, Lindsey Alley. And your cosmic guide through our ever-changing space and time, I'm your host, Raquel Herring.
Hello and welcome to the PlanetRoq Podcast, your go-to spot for all things relationships, personal growth, and navigating life's twists and turns, from the depths of dating and marital dynamics to the heights of spiritual journeys, entrepreneurship, money, pets, and plants. We explore every facet of human connection. I'm Raquel Herring, your cosmic companion on this wild ride called life. Each episode of PlanetRoq is packed with insights and inspiration to help you thrive in this ever-changing world. From heartwarming stories to candid conversations, we're here to empower you and uplift your spirits. Tune in every Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time on envision-radio.com, where praise meets talk for some real talk, real people goodness. And don't forget to catch the video replay on YouTube every Saturday. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated with all our latest episodes. So follow me on social media for updates and swing by my website at raquelherring.com to stay connected. So settle in and let's rock your world one relationship at a time right here on PlanetRoq. Get ready for a fun, exciting, and laughter-filled episode as we welcome the talented Lindsey Alley to PlanetRoq. You might know her from the Mickey Mouse Club days, where she starred alongside some of the biggest names in show business today. But Lindsey has so much more. She has since carved out her own unique path in entertainment, from acting to singing and even comedy, which is not surprising at all. She has graced stages from Broadway to cabaret shows and does it all with wit and charm. Join us right now as we dive into her fascinating career, hear her behind the scenes stories, and of course, share a lot of laughs, I know, along the way. You don't want to miss this episode. Check it out right now. We have Lindsey Alley. Welcome to PlanetRoq.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm so good. I just love watching your intro and seeing your face. I'm just grinning from ear to ear seeing you. You're so pretty.
Thank you so much. It is so wonderful to be sitting here with you because it's been like forever.
Too long.
Yes, too long. I don't even want to stay
long. How did we let that happen?
I don't know. I don't know how we let that happen. Life, whatever it does, it did it. But we're here now.
We're here. We found our way here. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad. It was so good seeing you at 90s Con, because I think out of the few times we had a chance to see each other, maybe in the past, maybe 5 years or so, like since decades ago, we actually had a chance to talk and connect this time. Yeah. So I'm so happy that we did that. And now we have good time to connect, and hopefully we will stay in touch. I really would like that.
We will. And sometimes you need those little, experiences to kind of bring you back together. I love there's like a text thread going on with all the Mouseketeers now post that event. And it's so sweet. Everybody checking in on each other after this hurricane. Yes. And I feel like it was a great way to sort of just recalibrate our relationships. And
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's dive on in, Lindsey. Tell us what's going on with you. What exciting projects are you currently working on? And I'll ask the rest of the question after you tell me.
Okay. So, I wish I was going to be a lot more exciting than I'm about to be. But as you were introducing me, I thought to myself, who is that she's describing? Who is that? That sounds so good. I want her life. Show business, as you know, is super weird. It's like, when it's good, and when it's bad, it's depressing.
Yeah. Yes.
So I can't say this has been an incredibly thrilling year with, tons and tons of gigs. It's been kind of quiet. Wow. But in a way that's also kind of great because I have a little kid and, he's just so needy. He's so needy. He just requires so much parenting and attention.
I think that's a kid.
I guess I'm describing a child.
Yes.
He wants to be fed all the time. So I am like a kind of a stay-at-home mom right now.
Wow. Well, that's a huge job.
Thank you. I want to give mad props to all the stay-at-home moms out there because it is no joke. It's no joke. And I only have one. So I think I'm so exhausted because I got a late start. I had him when I was, 39. So that's it actually said on my chart, elderly mother.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. It said
elderly mother?
It said either elderly or geriatric mother.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's great for my self-esteem.
Right, of course.
So I'm doing a lot of parenting, and when I'm not, the room parent and doing stuff for his school and kind of uber involved with him and running our house, then I'm moonlighting as a cabaret artist.
Okay.
So, and it's, it's great when I get to do my show. It's a thrill. I don't know. If this is a safe place to share, it's one of the only things in show business I still really, really love because show business has changed dramatically. I mean, we're not really going into auditions anymore. We're, putting ourselves on tape for stuff now. And the game has changed a little bit. So, anytime I get to work on my show and do my show, that really feels like old school show business. And I love it.
I have a few questions from that.
Yeah.
Tell us about your cabaret show. What is that? What does it mean to be like cabaret? And then how has the business changed so much? Those are the two questions. I'm just saying it so I don't forget. But tell us about your cabaret show. Explain that.
So, thinking back, I feel like I've always had an act. You know what I mean? I feel like I've always been 40 and I've always had I've always had an act.
Okay.
And that act has grown over the years and changed and morphed based on what's happening in my life. Mm-hmm. And rather than it being sort of a traditional concert or cabaret show where I'm saying something like, this next song was written by Cole Porter and, beep bop boop. It's more about the stories. I want it to be more of a narrative with an arc. And that's what I try to do in every show is tell the story of me and why they should care or why they should, I don't know. I like to give them a little bit of context. I had this really weird childhood as an actor. And then, thinking I'm going to do the right thing and go to college and get a degree. And hopefully that's going to open all these doors. And of course it it didn't do what I kind of thought it was going to do, and then spent some years in New York giving it a go, spent some years in LA giving it a go, and all the trials and tribulations along the way, meeting my husband, having a baby, navigating show business now. I kind of touch on everything, relationships with my mom and going through the loss of my dad. I kind of touch on everything. So it's a little slice of life, show tunes, dirty jokes, family stories, a little bit of everything. That's what Cabaret means to me. It's a little slice of life sharing.
Now, is that the same as your one-woman show?
Yeah.
Blood, Sweat, and Mouseketeers.
Yeah. I mean, in that particular narrative, I'm leaning more heavily on the Mickey Mouse Club stories.
Okay.
And like focusing more on that end of things. But honestly, this Cabaret show can be whatever I want it to be at the moment.
That's awesome.
It's very fluid. So if I'm doing it for a corporate gig, I try to gear it towards that audience, always like working on a special number for that particular audience or crowd.
Okay.
It can kind of do whatever I want it to do, which is great to have any kind of control or power in a business where you have, traditionally no control or power as an actor, as an artist.
Yeah.
So I feel that every time I get to do it, I take my power back a little bit, which feels kind of fun.
I totally understand that. Well, now you write your shows. You have one coming up. Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead.
So yeah, I actually have several writers that I work with.
Okay.
I work with a guy named Eric Kornfeld, who also writes for Bette Midler, and he's one of the funniest people I've ever met.
That's
he's
awesome.
Incredibly creative and original. And then David Sexton, who I say is my emotional support animal. And he's sort of like the big picture guy. And then I have another awesome songwriter, parody writer, David Goldsmith, who is absolutely amazing. So it's usually the three of us kind of like hunkering down and working on these things.
Awesome.
And nobody does anything totally alone. So I have a lot of help, but I kind of go in and go, this is the kind of thing I want to talk about. Like I have this song called Perimenopause in the show, right? Because I just feel like this is what we're going through, If I'm sweating and hiving and, having hot flashes and all the wonderful things that accompany that, I feel like I should sing about it on stage,
And you do. Blood, Sweat, and Mouseketeers I saw when we had the 30th. Yeah. Oof. Look at my mind just messed up when I said 30th reunion in Orlando 5 years ago. Oh, now I'm adding even more. Gosh, hush, Raquel, judge. You did your one woman show and it was hilarious. Aww. Oh my gosh. It was so fun. Like I didn't know what to expect, right? But I knew it would be something good, but it exceeded my expectations. Hilarious. Like if you haven't had a chance to see her show, wherever she goes, you gotta see her because Lindsey is just fantastic. Great storyteller. Sings her songs wonderfully, beautiful voice, and just like hilarious. That's what it is. And so you're going to possibly Miami?
So I'm doing a Christmas show at a great little venue in Miami on December 4th. It's called La Poubelle, and it's one of these like really kind of old school supper clubs. I think it only seats about 60 people, but it's very swanky, and the cocktails are amazing, and the food is delicious. And there's this precious little stage, and it's like the best venue to do cabaret.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, go ahead. Sorry.
How did it come to it being in Miami?
So I've done several gigs recently in Miami. So my friend David Sexton, the emotional support animal,
Yes.
he lives in Miami, and he's sort of like Mr. Miami. And he has his hand in all kinds of pots down there, and he always has an event. And so he'll kind of, drag me down for, whatever mission he's on. And so I do a lot of events for him down there, which is amazing. I feel like, it's an opportunity for me to do my thing, but usually for a really great cause. He's involved with some incredible organizations. So I feel awesome being a part of those causes as well.
Awesome.
Cabaret for a cause.
Yeah, that's my hometown, so I'm hoping I can make it. I don't live there anymore, but that would be awesome to see you there and see you again during your show, because like I said, it's awesome.
I would love for you to come. As I said before we came on air, I haven't written that show yet, but we'll get there. I've got at least 4 weeks to pull it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it's going to be great. Yeah. I just love that you write your own shows, and then you're writing them specifically for what, the overarching theme is. Like you said, if it's corporate or something like that. I think that's awesome. And that you tailor the show for whatever you're doing it.
Totally. I mean, I just don't feel like you can show up with a stock show anywhere. I feel like, that's, it wouldn't work for me. It wouldn't work for me. I feel like I need something very specific for that audience. I want that audience to feel seen. I want them to feel thought about ahead of time. And we really do try to tailor each show to, we try to think about who's in the room. So.
That is awesome. Well, I'll tell you, after seeing your show, it inspired me to write mine. I've only put it up once, but people loved it. So
how did it go? Tell me about it.
Well, it was right before COVID.
Yeah.
Well, when we didn't know it was coming. Right. And right when people are getting interested and ready to be like, oh, let's take it on the road, COVID came. Right. Yeah. So that's how it works.
Jeez.
But
you're going to get it back up, right?
I should be used to that by now. I'm not. I'm never getting used to it. But, I should be. It seems like every time something huge, then something that I can't control ends up happening. But I'm going to be done with that now. It's a new decade for me. So that's that. And I hope to get it back up.
When are you putting it back up again? What's your plan with it?
We have not really planned yet. So we talk about it, but right now I have this show, and then I'm doing a political show where I'm a moderator here in Orlando. So I'm doing that right now, but I'm sure we're going to get back to it at some point. But you inspired me. That was the point. You inspired me to get up there and do it because you were just so hilarious. And I was like, wow, this is a great way to be back on the stage. And like you say, it's your project. It's your baby. You're in control. Yeah. And it does make you feel better. It gives you this sense of safety and comfort. And you feel like, yes, I don't have to be feeling depressed, about booking or whatever, because I have my own thing and I can get it back out there. So I totally feel you on that.
Yeah. And you know what? It's sort of like every time I make a decision that, I'm feeling really blue, I haven't worked in a while, I'm going to book the show somewhere. I'm just going to call a venue that I know, and I'm going to see if there's a night, and I'm going to do it. And invariably, the whole work begets work thing is so true. As soon as I do that, other blessings start flowing. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I just kind of feel like if you put yourself out there and you share what's on your mind and in your heart, and you keep it real for the peeps. Keep it real. I don't hold back in my show, and I don't sugarcoat. I
don't, really, not at all.
I talk about what's really happening in my life, and it's such a, I don't know, it's a cathartic experience. So I don't think I'll ever stop doing my show. I mean,
I hope not.
I might be an old lady and doing my act in the nursing home, right between shuffleboard and, the 4 p.m. dinner. So
right.
anyway,
You'll
yeah.
still be doing it, and that's
I'll
what's
still
important.
be doing it. I'll still be
making
doing
people laugh.
It's my thing. It's my thing.
Yeah. So. Well, tell us, like, how has the business changed? Because you mentioned that it's changed a lot. You talked about, like, you used to go, we would go to the casting offices. Now, well, I haven't gotten an audition and I don't know when, okay? But I hear what you say, and yes, I hear what my friends say about it changing, about doing tapings at home, and that's kind of different and strange because, like, who's there? You're taping yourself, or I guess maybe casting is on the other side. Tell us about it.
I mean, I don't know. It's not that I love auditions. I don't think anybody absolutely loves going into a casting office and, feeling all of that nervous anxiety and schlepping across town with, all your gear and getting that one shot in the room.
Right.
But I do sort of, maybe I'm just romanticizing it because we don't do it that much anymore. Mm-hmm. But there was something to it. There was something to that little bit of banter as you were walking in the room and sort of winning them that way. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Where you sort of connected with them as a person. Yeah. And even if your audition was trash, at least they knew you were fun. Should we her because she's fun? But I don't know. I sort of feel like the game has changed so much, and now I've got this little self-tape studio here in our basement, and it's me and Lee. It's me and my husband doing these self-tapes. Yeah. And we've never had more control over an audition, right? We can stop and start and do it as many times as we want. Yeah. But I don't know. It just doesn't feel like this is the business I originally signed up for. And that nervous anxiety that you take into the room is ultimately just excitement and an opportunity to go and play in the room with a live audience. And here it just feels like, I don't know. I mean, no shade to my husband because he's a very good reader. He's a very good reader, but a little bit of the magic is gone in that, what it used to be. And then the whole if it's between Lindsey and somebody who has, 50,000 Instagram followers, and like that part of it is, I'm not going to lie, it gives me anxiety. It's like, how much of the social media aspect plays into it and how much of show business is about being relevant on those platforms. And then like all the, oh my gosh, am I saying the right things on these things? And it's a lot of, it's different. It's a different world.
It is. Well, it's less personal. Yeah. Because before, like you say, you're in front of like the casting director, the reader, maybe a couple of other people are in the room from the production, the director or something. And it's more personal then they can, maybe, they see something and say, well, do it like this or do it like that. And this way, you kind of just like, you're just going for it, You're
on your own. Yeah, you're on your own. It's not, I mean, you can give them a couple options, but like you said, there's no one in the room to give you a redirect. You know what I mean?
Right. So for especially what they're looking for.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So now, Lindsey, you began your career as a Mouseketeer.
Yeah.
Yeah. On Disney Channel's Mickey Mouse Club.
Yep.
And that's where we were together.
That's where we met. Where we met. So wild. It was just 20 short years ago. Is that all?
I'm going to go with that.
Let's go with that.
Yeah. Stick with that one. What was that experience like for you as a young performer? Because you were the youngest one out of the group.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, I had done some regional theater before the Mickey Mouse Club. I did, Annie at the Burt Reynolds Dinner Theater. And so I had, I had my foot in show business a little before.
Okay.
And so I don't know, it's funny. Like when you're in show business from a very young age, it sort of feels like business as usual. You know what I mean? It's sort of, and, I personally had a wonderful experience on the show. My memories of the show are really happy and warm and positive. And I still kind of, reflect back, like when people are looking for something salacious from me about the experience. I don't know if you get that too, but like, what was that person really like, or what was really going on backstage?
Mm-hmm.
I really don't have anything but love for that experience. I mean, it was so positive. I loved the other kids. I loved the adults. You could tell that the adults really loved kids, and it was great. It was really a special time.
Yeah. And you were on there for the duration, right? Was that like 8, 10 seasons?
6 years, 7 seasons.
6 years, 7 seasons. Wow.
Yeah. I know. Isn't that nuts? It was like over 300 episodes.
Wow.
I know.
Wow. Now, how was work after that? Because I talked to a few people and they were like, well, putting it on the resume was weird. You kind of had these feelings about maybe not wanting to put it on the resume. Was that the same experience for you?
No, I mean, I always had it on there because I always felt it was like a conversation piece, if nothing else.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I never got too heady about, will they take me seriously if I've been on the Mickey Mouse Club? But, it's the Mickey Mouse Club. It's such a fun thing to talk about. And even to this day, like I am a real hit at cocktail parties. You know what I mean? Like if I'm somewhere and somebody mentions it, people still want to talk about it. It's good. It's a curiosity. It's always been on my resume. I never felt weird about having it on there.
That's good. And when you left the Mickey Mouse Club, what came after that? What was life like between that time when you came out there?
So, like I kind of very briefly touched on, I felt like right after the show ended, I sort of felt like I had missed certain parts of my childhood. Mm-hmm. And that's why I went to college, because I didn't want to miss another. I had an opportunity to go to the Burt Reynolds Institute for Theater Training in Jupiter after high school. And then I thought, sorry, that's my husband's computer dinging away over here. I don't know how to work it. And then I thought, well, I could just go straight to LA or New York and not go to college. But I felt like I had missed enough like homecoming dances, and I had missed sort of those like milestone-y childhood things that I didn't want to miss this collegiate experience as well. Yeah. And so I went to the University of Missouri, Columbia, and I majored in theater. And again, I had an amazing experience there. I got to be a big fish in a small pond in their theater event, which was, amazing.
Yeah.
And then I had so much luck as a kid actor that I was under this sort of delusional assumption that it would just continue. I would just, graduate from college where I was, the big fish, and I would move to New York and I would be a Broadway star. Right. And that was sort of the assumption. And then I wasn't. And then sort of a little bit of low grade insecurities set in those years after, as I started to be told no for the first time in my life.
Wow.
And navigating the business as an adult actor, I have found to be very different. And so that's kind of how my show was born, because I needed an outlet to, to share this transition and what I was going through and what was happening. And that's when the show kind of, it already started in college, but it was a weird transition and still continues to be. But I just, most days, try to laugh about it. And when I can't do that, then I have a martini.
Okay.
Like a
martini that solves it.
I mean, sadly, it's not solving it the way it used to. Even that's not working anymore. But, show business is, if a kid came to me now and said, should I be an actor? I would, I don't know what I would tell him. I would tell him, if you can't think about anything else, and this is what you're dreaming of all the time, then you owe it to yourself to see it through. But with the full knowledge of what it, what it does to your heart over the long term, you know?
Yes.
So
I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, with your one woman show, because you gave us a little bit of how it came about, of say, I'm going to put myself on stage, which I think, sometimes you just have to open the door, open your own door, make the door, or make your own table and sit at it, and you've done that. So like, what was the most challenging parts about putting the show together? Because you thought, okay, I need to do this for myself. Like, what was that process? How did you end up just putting it all together, and those challenges that you experienced?
It's weird how shows come together. It's sort of like watching sausage get made. You know what I mean? It's kind of unpleasant, but I think about, like, how can I flip this narrative? Like, how can I take this adverse experience and make it an interesting story that other people can relate to and see themselves in? And, I don't want it to ever turn into like a therapy, session on stage, but the ultimate goal is entertainment always. Right. But, I think about the stories that I want to share, and then the songs usually follow. Like, I don't usually, I feel like a lot of people lead with the music and lead with the songs, but I have always found, like, the stories sort of dictate, what I'm going to sing. And to be really truthful, like, I'm just, again, keeping it totally real. I'm not like an incredible singer. I'm a good singer, I'm a good singer, but I'm not like a singer. I'm not like you. I'm not like, you are a proper, like, singer. No, you are. Let's be real. You are. And so I don't have that to lean on. So I can't say, hey, listen to me sing Gravity from Wicked. That's just, so I have to lean on the storytelling, and I have to lean on the narrative, and let that be the special driver in the show rather than the music. So again, like, every time I do it, it's a living thing. It's totally different every time. I mean, sometimes it's very emotional, and like I said, I'm talking about, my dad or my mom dealing with, a dementia diagnosis, or whatever might be happening, or being stuck alone at home with my toddler during COVID. All the things. But I just try to take all the stories and then, put them in a big pile and see what fits together, and then do it.
What has been the most difficult story that you're like, I'm going to tell this, but gosh, well, first you were like, should I tell this story? Can I get it out when I'm on stage and, make it translate to people without falling to pieces or whatever? Was there any story that might have been challenging for you?
I think if you ever feel that way about a story, like, ooh, can I tell this? That's the one, like that's absolutely the one you should share and tell.
Okay.
And I always try to find a way to spin, to flip the narrative, to rethink. Like, for example, I was trying to find a way to articulate like laughter in dark moments. Like when the world is falling apart, like how can we look for the laughs? Because those are the things that carry me through the really dark times. Yeah. And I was just talking with Lee about this the other night. So Lee's mom, my husband's British, and his very British mother-in-law would regularly check in with me via text when my dad was sick in the hospital. Okay. And she would always send these texts that would say something like, Lindsey, I know your dad is having a surgery today, and I just want you to know I'm thinking of you, and we hope he's doing well. And she would always sign off with LOL, which in her mind meant lots of love.
Okay.
But for me, of course, all I could picture was her saying these heartfelt things and then dying laugh. Like,
yeah, of course.
So Rocky, even when my dad was so ill, like even when he passed away, she sent a text that said, we are so grateful he's no longer suffering. He's in a better place now. LOL. And even in this like heartbreaking, devastating moment, this little glimmer of laughter I hung on. And I've always looked for those little moments of joy and laughter when things are so and awful and the whole world is falling apart. There is always something to laugh at, always.
Yeah.
It might not be appropriate, but I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna laugh at everything. Otherwise, I can't survive.
Right.
So
I get that.
Yeah.
What was so when you're on the road or you're doing your show, what has been the funniest moment that just came out of nowhere and you're like, where did that come from? How did that even happen? Have there been times like that? Because you've been all over. I mean, you've been in New York doing this show. You've been in LA doing this show. You've been all around doing it. Yeah.
I mean, so many weird things. I don't know. I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, What's always crazy. Have you ever gotten sick before a show?
Oh, of course.
Where you think, I'm not going to be able to sing. I don't have a voice. And then all that stress and panic sets in, and you end up moving every song down a full step,
right?
And rewriting the show an hour before the show just to get through the show. But then this insane burst of adrenaline comes through and everything. I mean, it's been I do a lot of show on gay cruise ships, which is hilarious and amazing. And I've seen the world on these cruise ships with these guys, and it's been so fun.
Yeah.
But I had a guy, stop the show one night. He had too many cocktails, and we literally had to stop the show, and I had to take a moment backstage, and he had to be gently escorted back to his room one evening because he was trying to get up on the stage and do the show with me.
Wow.
Yeah. There's always something you're contending with.
Yeah.
Which is why I say you have to have a script. You have to have a show. Like, I don't understand the people who can just wing it on stage.
No, I don't know either.
No, like if you have the show, then you can always take the cart path and always come back to the show. You know what I mean? Right. But if you don't have that there and then the guy is suddenly on stage, then I feel like you're not free to, you know, riff and ad lib and take liberties without that like grounding, you know, that grounding show to begin with. So
oh yeah, and I don't understand the winging it either. Winging it, no. I need to have something.
No,
I need to have something solid, and I can do some whatever winging happens at the time within that. But I need to have something solid.
Exactly. But don't you sort of think that's like growing up in show business too? Do you know what I mean?
It's like being prepared.
It's being prepared. Prepared. But I feel like a lot of people just get up and sort of wing it now. And I have no idea how they do that. My anxiety would be through the roof.
Mine too. No, I learned to be prepared. And then but at the same time of being prepared, but also being fluid in the sense that, like you say, when something like that happens, you're not totally thrown off. You can engage, you can make jokes about it. You can take it from there. And then, like you said, come back to the show because you have that grounding, that foundation there to come back to. And keep it moving.
Yes, exactly. Like it gives you the freedom to actually be in the room. Right. Do you know what I mean? So
exactly.
Yeah.
The Mickey Mouse Club. What are the funniest, like 1, 2, however many you want to share of your time being on the Mickey Mouse Club?
Like funniest things that happened?
Yeah.
I mean, most of them were off stage. Most of them were like off camera, right? I mean, will you agree? Please agree with me that pie fight that Fred arranged was just to this
my gosh, that was amazing.
Amazing.
Who gets to do that?
Tell the people what he did, please. Because to this day, I still can't believe he arranged that and made it happen.
I probably don't remember it as detailed as you do, but oh my gosh, when we knew that he had arranged for us to just go crazy, throwing pies at each other. I mean, it was huge. That room was huge.
He has like what,
huge soundstage.
1,000 banana cream pies or something?
Yes. Huge soundstage. We're eating, you know, what was it, like the end of the season or something?
Yeah.
And when Bray brought out all these pies and was like, you're just gonna like just have fun. Like, what?
Yeah.
That was crazy. Who gets to do that?
I was cleaning like banana cream out of my ears. Like it was in my ears. It was everywhere. But to this day, that is still one of my fondest memories of just the entire staff, all the kids outside that soundstage, ruining the ground with that. Like, I mean, it would just never happen. It would never happen now.
Yeah, but that pie fight was that pie. I mean, just throwing pies at each other. Adults throwing it at adults and the kids throwing it at the adults and the kids. It was just so much fun. You're right. I would never forget that. And what about the camping trip we took?
Oh my gosh.
That was crazy.
I can't believe our parents let us go.
Right.
I'm still shocked.
I was surprised my mom let me go. I was like, what?
Marsha let me go. I'm still stunned. I cannot get over it. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I know. If you could give your younger self one piece of advice from the perspective you have now, and I think you've said this probably already, what would it be? Your younger self.
I think I wouldn't give this advice to my younger self, Mickey Mouse Club days, because I feel like I had it then. Okay. I would give my 20-something some advice.
Okay.
And it would be just unabashedly be you. Stop stop like trying to be who you think they want you to be.
Yes.
Because I know that just sounds like so generic,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so true. Like I feel like we have this fearlessness when we're kids,
Yeah.
and we lose that somewhere along the way. We are sort of, I don't know. I don't know what happens to that fearlessness and that innate confidence that, like, when I think back to to one of the auditions for the show, I had a pre-taped recording of One Voice. Remember we sang it together on the show?
Yes. Yes.
The Barry Manilow tune. I sang that for one of my auditions, and I had the wherewithal as like a 10-year-old not to like start from the beginning, because I knew we had limited time to get up there and like sing something.
Yeah.
But how baller of me. Like I fast forwarded that I could just do the big like belty moment at the end. And I just got up there. I was like, I'm gonna show him the best stuff I can do. And I just got up there and wailed on it as like this Barry Manilow tune as a 10-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And I think somewhere along the line, like I lost that confidence. I lost that,
Me
that
too.
sort of, and I've been getting it back in my 40s, because I think something happens, like your hormones start falling apart and you don't care. Is
that what it is?
You don't even have the strength to care anymore. And so I have a little bit of that like fearlessness back now.
Yeah.
But, it's been a good long, lots of years in my 20s and early 30s, like being a little fearful of fully just being me,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the advice I would give is just be you. It's your superpower. Just
Great advice. That's the same advice I give when anyone asks me, what would I say to artists coming up now? That's what I'd say. Be yourself.
Yeah.
Because you do get caught up in like trying to be who you think they want you to be. Because I don't know where, like you said, where along the lines did it come you weren't enough?
Can we like pinpoint it? I know we're like in like a full on like therapy moment, but I actually tried to track back. Like when did that happen? Was it just a cumulative buildup of people telling you no in the
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe it was that. Yeah.
But
I think for me it started, I write it in my book, and I don't want to like, I'm going to try to say it like very covertly, but I think it started just from one person that I felt was just like really one of my biggest supporters, maybe not feeling that excited about me because maybe I was changing, my world's changing, I'm coming into like out of my teens. And then maybe I think from feeling that person did not think that I was enough, I think that really sent me down a spiraling, a spiral down. And I really didn't consider it because I think I always tried to cover it, maybe it's not there or just like ignore it. But like, I think that's where it like started, its inception. And then from there, now you hear this no. And as you keep hearing no's or, well, we went another way or no, then you're starting to feel now, well, shoot, they don't think I'm it either, and like how, like, I don't know how people keep it, like what I am it, whether they believe it or not, or whatever they're saying, it's going to come back around and it's going to be my way. I really wish I had that at the time, but I think I had gotten so hurt at that inception that after that, it has taken me a while too, like you say, the confidence. And I think in the past, probably 5 years, I think 6 years of now being where I can see a little better.
Yeah.
I understand being an adult a little better. My confidence is coming back.
Yeah. I mean, like everything you just said. Like,
I'm feeling to be taking a little more risk than I would have before, and say, it doesn't matter the nose or whatever. I'm enough for me. I'm enough for me. And you know who thinks that I'm enough? God thinks I'm enough.
Yeah.
Because he gave me the talent, the gift, the ability. He thinks I'm enough. So how dare I go along with anybody thinking that I'm not? Then I'm the one that's ridiculous, and I need to stop being ridiculous. They're just being who they are.
Right.
I don't need to be ridiculous because I know who says I'm enough.
Yeah.
And most days that works.
I mean, and if not, there's always the martini. There's always
right. I don't drink, so I have to have a soda. Give me a Dr. Pepper. I need something.
So good for you. So I've actually been trying not to drink. And do you know how hard it is to feel your feelings? Who wants to feel your feelings? It was, I don't know where I read that. It was like, well, if you don't drink, you're going to have to actually process your feelings. I was like, that's true. Terrible.
That's true.
Sounds awful. But no, it's everything you just said. The only difference is I can't pinpoint like one person who lost confidence in me. I think it was a series of no's, and that sort of beat me up a little bit.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
And then I kind of like stopped, as you said, being my own cheerleader.
Yeah.
And then when you get in your head that way, it's, it's tough. It takes you out for a while. It takes you down. But then, in the last, as I said, I will tell you, like having Owen has been a big, it's helped with perspective a lot, because I just kind of go, oh, like I have to take care of this person in front of me. This is obviously the most important thing. Absolutely. And then when I do step away from him and go and do a show, I sort of feel like this is my opportunity to go and be myself on stage. And I'm not going to miss that opportunity now, because I just don't have it. So I don't have any time to waste anymore. That's right. And I'm getting older by the second, and I require more Botox than ever. And I'm just going to go and tell all the stories, even the really hard ones, and find a way to make them all funny. Yeah. And try not to care about how many Instagram followers I have, or what so-and-so thinks about me for saying that thing I said on stage. I'm just going to try to live as authentically as I possibly can. So
that's good. That's awesome. I think that's great advice for everybody, to live as authentically as you can, because I mean, that's all you have. And we should be excited about that, because we're uniquely ourselves if we just be that person. But sometimes like the industry, makes you feel, well, I can't say they make you, but because of the series of events and experiences can kind of, take you the opposite way. Well, let's talk about like the most rewarding part of your journey in the industry. Okay. What has it been? Because there has to be you've had so many great experiences.
I have. It's so funny. Like, when you say that, I'm giggling in my mind a little bit, because I'm like, have I? But I have. Like, if I look at my trajectory on paper, it looks pretty good. Like I've done some things that, I think a lot of people would be really excited to do. And I count myself really lucky. You know what I mean? I've had an opportunity to be on really cool stages. I've worked with wonderful people. I now get to do my own show, and I'm funny enough looking. Like I'm not beautiful, but I'm funny looking. So I will age into roles as I get older.
Okay.
I mean, that is the one thing for looking like a Muppet. Like I will.
Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh.
I will age into some great roles, and I feel really excited about that. But I think what was your original question? What's been the most fulfilling?
Yeah, the most rewarding part of being in the industry for you.
The relationships.
Yes.
It's the relationships and the friendships and the idea that, like, I'm on your podcast. We've had a 35-year, it might not be consistent over the years, but we have now a relationship of 35 years.
Yeah.
We've reconnected. It's like getting to connect with these wonderful people in my life.
Yes.
And that is the most rewarding part. It's just the friendships, the relationships, the bonding. That's the best part of show business.
Lindsey, thank you so much for coming on the show, sharing your heart with us, sharing your experience and your advice. I so appreciate you being here. Again, people, you have got to check out her show. If it comes to your town, blood, sweat, Mouseketeers, or look, she changes it all the time. I mean, she's so creative, she can change her show at the drop of a dime for whatever you need it for. Okay, so
that's right. It's malleable. Right. And I'm for hire. I'm available. So
that's right.
Yeah.
I love it,
Rocky. I love you so much. You never age. You get more gorgeous every year. It's really annoying. Like,
glory to God.
Knock it off.
Thank you so much. And thank you to all our listeners who took the time out today to come listen to us. You could have been anyplace else, but you chose to come be here with us right here on PlanetRoq. Come back next Thursday, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time on envision-radio.com. Check out the YouTube video replay of all of our episodes on Saturday. That's when they premiere, but they keep going on. So at any rate, thank you so much. We love you. Again, stay blessed and come back next week right here on PlanetRoq.
What an awesome show full of insight and inspiration. Thank you to our guests and listeners. Look forward to hearing us next week on envision-radio.com at 12 noon right here on PlanetRoq.